Anyway, Kenneth O'Keefe, former US Marine, was fighting in the Gulf War and was on the programme a few months ago. Joins us again. He's just come back from America. Kenneth, you've got interesting views on all of this, I know. But how close do you think we are to the Third World War?
Well, I think when the history books are written, if we have any publishers or any books left, are going to say that we're already in it. And when you have impunity in a nuclear age, I've warned humanity about this now for over a decade. In fact, I made a film about it. Impunity in the nuclear age has taken us to World War III and Armageddon. It almost seems like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I would argue the best thing we could do to prevent that is to apply the law. And according to the law, the genocide charges against the Jewish state of Israel and the killing of heads of state and heads of movements is not something that is allowed by law. We have due process, it's been violated, and this is why we are now sitting on a Samson option reality.
They haven't hit heads of state, they've hit terrorist group heads who killed American Marines that you were. Murdered hundreds of Marines. The use or threat of violence to enforce or to compel political action is the definition of terrorism. Ask the children of Gaza. Themselves. Ask the children of Gaza if they're terrorized when they have F-16. Why haven't they been moved to Egypt like the Ukrainian children?
We are the terrorists. America,
why are
Britain,
they there,
and Israel.
the children? Why are the children not out in Egypt?
Calm down.
You won't answer that.
The children are wetting their beds at night. If it was your child who was wetting his bed
children
at night,
have left Ukraine.
You would have to tell them that, oh, I'm sorry, the terrorists are the reason why they're allowed to bomb you as a child.
You won't answer the question, will you? Because you've got no answer.
Shut up for a minute.
It's all right,
because you just shout. Shut up.
I'm not shouting, I'm just making a point there.
You're not. You're just being stupid.
I've said the Ukrainian children aren't in Ukraine.
Are you going to fire him for real?
You can't answer it, can you?
I'm seriously going to fire him at one point.
It's all right, he's answered it by not answering.
Why have you suddenly, as an ex-Marine, become a fan of terrorists?
Right. So I am not a fan of terrorism. I've just defined it. The use of threat or violence to compel political action.
Yeah, that's just...
By that
happens to be whatever country
weapons of mass destruction, Iraq, 2 million dead. That was a lie.
So you were a terrorist. You were a Marine.
We have Madeleine Albright, former Secretary of State of the United States, who said, quote, 500,000 dead children was, quote, worth it. That's terrorism.
So you were a terrorist.
The United States has dropped Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the firebombing of Dresden. We can go on and on. Terrorism, by its legal definition, has not been prosecuted. That's called impunity, and it's because of impunity that we sit here today. And if, by the way, any of those nations which we have bombed and genocided and supplied the weapons to do that decide to come over here, well, how? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Would you sit by and do nothing while your country was being bombed, while it was all based on lies, weapons of mass destruction much? No, I would fight. By the way, the Palestinians are an occupied nation. Occupied, which means the occupying nation has a legal obligation. They've cut off air, water, food, in every way. Literally, when you're in a firestorm, there's no air left. You're burning
selling the item
under the rubble. This is impunity in the nuclear age.
This is good.
World War III. Best we stop it.
You might as well go, because quite frankly, there's nothing else to say, because you actually would support terrorists and the enemies of freedom if they attacked us. You just said it.
What is your definition of terrorism? Maybe I don't understand.
Well,
what is your definition of terrorism?
My definition of terrorism is what happened on October the 7th.
Wait, is there any other example?
I've got to give them to you.
Okay.
What happened to this country during our troubles with the IRA?
Okay.
That's terrorism. Bombs going off in the middle.
Innocent people.
In a war situation, sadly.
How about Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
I wouldn't like... If
the firebombing of Dresden?
It stopped the war. It stopped the war.
Oh, wait.
It stopped the war.
Oh, but...
That's a war.
But what if it didn't? Would it have been terrorism?
No, you're talking rubbish.
Oh, wait. So if it stops a war, it's not terrorism, but if it doesn't stop a war, it is.
That
sounds like the victor's right to history to me. Sounds like the British Empire, which invaded and occupied and genocided all over.
Well, when you were a Marine, were you a terrorist? You were working for terrorists by your definition.
I was a mercenary for the banksters until I woke up, got ahead, and actually started thinking with my heart.